Hi.
Hi, Brian. Where did we meet ever?
Hey, Pedro.
Hello, Pedro. Fantastic.
We're getting to see some faces for the first time.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, and I'm humbled by the work that you guys do. It's amazing, the talent on this call.
Some of the faces are a little more pleasing than others, I'd like to say right off the bat. Professor
Listen,
Ray.
man, I can fix that.
Hey, there you go.
It's great to see you, Pedro.
It's great to see you all also. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Pedro.
Long
My friend
time no
Pedro.
see.
We have to travel soon, man. The virus is crimping our international Playboy style, let me tell you. Pedro and I have traveled together on more than one occasion. And he has been my translator and also my brain, because I don't have a very good one. And Pedro speaks about 20 languages. And
You say I am your mini me.
yes,
That's
yes.
incredible.
And I will pull up some photos here in just a moment to show you how awesome Pedro is. But let me finish all this stuff on Facebook real quick.
But yeah, Pedro, you ought to give us a short tour around your museum of telescopes.
Yeah. You. I have a few just behind me.
I know, I can see just a few.
Yeah, a few. You can see.
Exactly.
Take a look.
Hello, Philip.
Many.
Chin.
It's in my living room, and during this pandemic, we are all here, more or less sheltered. We have to, so we are observing a lot. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So how many telescopes have you got now? Have you counted them all?
I stopped counting.
Oh.
Many, and I'm building a third observatory, as you have seen. So a small roll-off that I'm building in my garden, and it's getting almost ready with the second Paramount. So I'm planning to use it also soon.
And then we're going to have a big celebration when it opens.
Yeah, maybe we can have it here. Yeah, why not?
Well, that's what instigated getting this started too, because there was a comment about launching the new observatory in that post, and it took off from there.
Exactly.
So
We never have enough telescopes.
Hello, Philippe.
Yes. Hello, Philippe.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Philip.
Great to see you.
And it's nice to see you. Hey.
So Pedro, my roof actually fell off my observatory 2 weeks ago.
Sorry?
My roof actually fell off the my roll-off observatory 2 weeks ago.
Oh, because the wind, a strong wind?
No, because I had the bright idea to show 2 high school classes a live image of the sun, and the first one started at 8 a.m. And at 7:30 a.m., I realized the sun had not yet cleared my observatory wall. I said, "Oh my God, I've got to take the roof off, get another 6 inches of visibility," and in gently taking the roof off, it fell. Yeah, so, and it fell on top of a tree that my wife loves, and I thought, "Oh my God, I'm a dead man." The tree survived. I only had to take off this much of the tree. The roof is now about a third lighter because I've replaced a lot of heavy materials. So I'm much happier, and my family is still whole. No divorce ensued.
I think Raina could do with that, with his palm tree.
Yeah. So then the palm tree. So the first class at 8 a.m. it just cleared the hill. Perfect. So I got to show the sun until it passed behind a palm tree, the single palm tree in the way, and so it interrupted for 20 minutes. And then the second class was at 2 p.m., which happened to be exactly behind the other remaining palm tree. So palm trees messed up both my presentations for about 50 minutes until it finally passed behind the palm tree and I could show the sun, and the sun was amazing. Beautiful. RS, some active region, 75, I think, was still active. It was beautiful.
Now, Jack, where are you, in California?
Yes, Southern California, San Diego area.
San Diego, okay. And Robert, you are in Isle of Skye?
Yeah. Hebrides, yeah. North, 57.5 degrees north.
I'd love to visit there.
Well, yes. There's a lot of people visit at the moment. It's become incredibly busy. It's now it's the days are really shortening. We get a lot of northern lights here and very
Really?
short days. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'd love to see the Northern Lights.
Me too.
Me too.
I've
Me
seen them
too.
only one time.
Well, you see a lot of clouds here, but when there's no clouds, there's usually northern lights in the winter.
Really? I have to
I
look.
think,
how high-
Robert, you're going to get a queue of people wanting to visit.
Well, you mostly see clouds. You can see them anywhere.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Here's,
Oh my God!
yes, this is.
Is that your son?
Yeah. I'm his mini-me.
This is Pedro Ray and I'm Stephen Ramsden. I'm the guy that runs the program.
In Tunisia.
In Tunisia, on the stage of a 2,500-year-old Roman amphitheater. And
Right.
they arranged for us to have a private tour of this place on the day it was closed. And we got to the gate and the guy didn't know about it. And so it was closed and he let us in anyway after our hosts bribed him a little bit. so there's Pedro and I, and well, actually these are some of the other gentlemen. But
this guy is Mohib.
Mohib,
The guy with
right.
the beer. It's
Right.
Mohib.
And we, where is that picture? Yeah, we did a little Shakespeare on the stage, if I recall correctly. Et tu, Pedro, was
Exactly.
my only line.
I was gonna say, okay, so you probably held him up and said, "Ah, York, I knew you well."
This picture, I couldn't possibly have been that fat back then. I think this picture's been altered, but I'm not sure. So yeah, Pedro is an absolutely wonderful travel companion. And he translated all the Arabic, and some of the professors, everyone in this astronomy club had a graduate degree or was an active professor at the university. And some of them spoke French, some of them spoke Arabic, some of them spoke a little English. And Pedro, of course, Professor Ray, speaks all of these languages. And he was going back and forth between the people, translating to English, to Arabic, to
I cannot speak Arabic.
from French. Yeah, they were translating their Arabic to French, and then Pedro was translating the French to English, and then the English back to French, and the French back to Arabic. And it got quite humorous because he would get mixed up and start talking to me in French or Portuguese.
Exactly.
And I thought that was a wonderful experience because he said to me, you know, I'm thinking, and I'm thinking the proper thing to say to you, but it's not translating to my mouth in the proper language because things are moving so fast.
Right.
But I'm always fascinated with someone who can speak multiple languages. And of course, we all speak math, you know.
Exactly.
And
Who speaks math?
We
We
all
also
music in university.
yeah, right. So I'll flip through some more photographs of some of our adventures here while you guys are talking, and I'll go ahead and mute it.
Hey, Stuart.
Stu, how are you? Stu.
Stu just came in. Stu, hi.
Hi guys, you all right?
Good to see you, Stuart.
Hey Stuart.
Yeah.
How's
And
everything?
Hi.
And Philip the Great Attractor has joined us. Wonderful. Now, Stephen, this is your Zoom session, so you have the ability to co-host people and people can share their monitors?
Yes, he can. I think he's on mute at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody can share their screen as far as I know, unless do you
Yeah.
not have that option?
No. So Alexandra said she couldn't do it because of the university.
No.
So the good news is now whoever's got sun we can do a live display of the sun in whatever region of the world's got sun at that moment.
Yeah, and I do
Yeah.
that quite often actually on my Facebook pages and for classrooms around the world during the virus. And I was
Right.
planning on doing it today for us, but it's overcast and raining outside. We had 3 inches
Yeah,
of
me
rain last
too.
night.
Yeah.
So
I do as well.
Yeah.
I used to use GoToMeeting, but
yeah, I have a commercial Zoom account that I pay for through the nonprofit. So we have the ability for everyone to do all the features of Zoom. And Alexandra was considering hosting with her work account, which doesn't allow certain things, but that's
Right.
not a problem anymore.
this is perfect. Great. Good to know.
Why, have you got some sun, Jack?
I don't. This is the first rain we've had in 3 months.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
We had drought all summer and now it doesn't know enough to stop raining.
What happened to Mark Townley? Is he joining, Mark?
maybe.
Mark, actually. He's been very, very busy, you know, because he works at high school in Birmingham. I think that, you know, with the new COVID restrictions, you know, I think it's like tripled his workload. And I think that he's just bombed with stuff. And that's why he's gone quite quiet recently, which is a shame.
What does he do for work?
He teaches. So he's a teacher at a high school.
He's a geologist, I think, isn't it?
Yes, I think he is a geologist, but I think he doesn't teach geology. He teaches something else, and I can't remember.
Technical, isn't it? Technical studies, or what do they call it? It's kind of engineering.
I can't remember, but I know it's not geology, which surprised me.
We have our
Does teach astronomy as well.
Alexander and I,
like on the side.
Alexander and I do other Zoom meetings together fairly often for our birding hobby. We do live broadcasts on Zoom every Friday, now changing to Saturday at 2 for Alexander's sake. And,
oh, right, okay.
Right, so that'll be 6 p.m. for you after the time change for us tomorrow. So we do, and Mark Townley was on our broadcast. What was that broadcast? He was on the birding broadcast? Which one was he on?
Was that the Astro Radio?
Oh yeah, Astro Radio. We did a show with Mark Townley, was on there, and he's quite a lively person on Zoom, let's say. He's just kind of like that.
Yeah, he doesn't say much.
Yeah, but we have, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project also has an affiliate called Sunlit Earth in the United States, and also in about 5 of the countries that we service. That is about solar wavelengths of light in nature and studying them through biological systems, terrestrial biological systems, birds, animals, plants, clouds, atmospheric distortions, just any way that sunlight affects the terrestrial environment. And that's mostly on Facebook, but we do have a forum on Solarchat forum for Sunlit Earth. And it ends up being mostly wildlife photographs. But the point is to get people to understand that everything they're seeing and everything that's living on this planet is doing so directly because of the sun and the wavelengths of light from the sun. So Alexander and I have been promoting that program as well on the side. And I'm glad that she thought up this Zoom meeting idea because, you know, everybody's cooped up, man, and everybody's just sick of wearing face masks and staying cooped up and listening to all this garbage going around the world. I don't care what side you're on anymore. It's just, I don't care. I just want it to be over.
Yeah.
This is a great idea to get us all together, I think. And
But it's great because we can get to see people's faces.
Yeah.
You know,
especially my face.
By,
I'm sure
you know,
all.
like a name.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
I want to say that I'm so grateful for the coaching I've had over the last couple of years. My photographs have gone from nasty to every time I take the scope now, I'm just enjoying everything immensely. I have so much fun. For great software like Philippe, I'm not sure what it is, the great attractor, the IMPPG, and the great coaching, the counseling. It's just, you know, what a joy to share. Every time I get a photo that I'm excited, oh, I can't wait to share with my friends. I gotta go show them. That's lovely. So much fun.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I'm really glad, you know, that Philip produced that IMPPG because honestly, I don't know where we would be without that. So absolutely, thank you. You're amazing.
I'm glad that you like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't think that we can, you know, when you look at through all the forums, you know, like other forums, like, you know, some of the British forums, Stargazers Lounge, everybody's using it now because it's so good. It's so easy, so brilliant.
We don't like it. We love it. We love it. We all use it.
Exactly.
So, Philip, is there a donation button on your site or anything? I just realized I have not contributed and I would like to contribute.
Same here.
No, but so I haven't thought about it so far. It's not really needed. I will keep developing it.
Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project.
In case,
and there is the Charlie Bates Astronomy Project, I guess, which could use a donation as well.
Well, that's a good topic, and I won't push it here, but you know, operate on an annual budget of about 110, 120,000 US dollars. And my wife and I put in about half of that, and we're happy to do so from my military retirement. And then donors, I'm required by federal law to raise at least a third of that money from other people. So thank you to all of you that have subscribed. And your money pays for equipment and shipping, which is really the only expenses we have since we can't do astronomy events right now in the US because of the virus. But there's no salaries paid. There's nobody gets anything. It's all put into equipment, and the shipping expenses are phenomenal in this program. That's probably our largest expense of anything.
Also pays for Solarchat.
And pays for the Solarchat, which runs $2,500 a year, roughly, maybe $2,000 a year, depending on how many problems there are. And Solarchat, by the way, is an enormous PHP BB forum. It's probably, it might be the largest one in existence as far as data goes, and because it's well over 50 gigabytes now. Your average, like for instance, Cloudy Nights, which is not a PHP forum, is under 5 gigabytes total. Ice and Space is less than that.
Wow.
Yeah. Because none of them allow you to store any images greater than a certain size. Our forum is loaded with super high res images in the 50 to 300 megabit range, videos. So I've tried to keep that the case because I feel it's important, because the high resolution. But that takes up a lot of web hosting space. But I'm happy to do it.
We should try to put links instead of images because it should be better.
It would be better. It actually embeds the exact same photo if you link it from your site or from Flickr. But I don't want to yell at people for doing things wrong or whatever. I started this forum because I got yelled at on Cloudy Nights on my first couple of posts. I got beat down by all the professionals, for saying the wrong thing or using the wrong word or whatever reason it is. And I'm not into that. I'm into including people. And you can, the proof is in the pudding, as we say in the US, because the Solarchat forum is unique among any of these forums, because there's no arguing that there's, it's not like the other forums, and there's no advertising.
The only one I do.
Thank you.
Really?
It's the only one I do. But it does cost a little money. But like I say, that's all under control. And we do these once a year fundraisers to just raise enough money to pay for what we do. Most of the money you're donating to our program goes to shipping expenses and equipment expenses. So for instance, when Pedro and I went to Tunisia the first time, before we went, I shipped over to a couple of mounts and a couple of Lunt solar telescopes when we used to be sponsored by Lunt. My sponsorship with them was 50% off retail. So I buy these 80 millimeter scopes, and I had a 90 millimeter Coronado that was my personal scope. Shipping just the 90 millimeter Coronado scope to Tunisia was $2,000, just to ship it. Okay, the scope itself was not a whole lot more than that. Shipping Celestron at the time CGX mount, whatever the smaller mount was called, that was $2,500. So I just decided that's crazy. And plus they would get there maybe half the time. They would get there successfully. So I just hid them in my suitcase the next time and flew there. And when I met Pedro the first time, I had suitcases full of telescopes, and even a first class ticket from my home in Atlanta to Tunisia, to Tunis, is less money than shipping one telescope. So that's where all the money goes in this program, because of these stupid borders that we still have and all these customs expenses for everything. I just sent out.
At that time, you had to book two seats.
2 seats.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. I was a little.
You are much thinner now.
I'm half the man I was in those days. But now when I retired from air traffic control, I was very large, very, very overweight. But birding and hiking has taken care of that. It was the stress from air traffic control. But that's where the money goes, and we do those fundraisers once a year, and that's that. But I'm gonna find some more. Here's another photo, if you want to see of Pedro. He looks a little taller in this photo. This is the second time.
That's impossible.
This is the second time we went to Tunisia together,
right?
And I'm quite a bit smaller, and I think he grew a couple of inches. So.
Oh, okay.
And,
this is the Coliseum for the gladiators.
Yes, this was in another part of the country. I forget where it was, but
right.
This was not
I
in
don't
Tunis.
remember. South of Tunis, somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember that there were souvenir stands lining the entire outside of the Coliseum. Everywhere you went,
Exactly.
you could buy souvenirs. And
You-
something else unusual about that place was that the museums, if you remember, Pedro, all the museums had Roman artwork, Roman statues, actual artifacts just sitting out in the open on the sidewalk. No protection, no guards, nothing, no
Exactly.
glass. You could
It
walk
was
up
very
and do,
safe.
yeah,
It was
do
very
whatever you
safe at
wanted.
the time. Not really now, maybe.
Not as
I'm
much.
not sure.
But you know, it's a secular Islamic democracy there, and they still use Islamic law for crimes. So people grew up, if you stole a statue or something, they just killed you. So, so there was a lot less crime. And I think we saw one person the entire time we were there that was intoxicated. And when we saw that guy, we were eating lunch, and the shop owner, the guy was standing out in front of a shop in downtown Tunis, and he had drank a little too much. And the shop owner came out and sat him at a table and provided him with food and water and tried to help him. And
Right.
for me, that was like, you know, seeing Jesus or something. It was crazy, because in my city, you can't walk 1 block without seeing at least 3 or 4 people sleeping on the ground, drunk.
So
Yeah.
Pedro, did you sober up with that? food, or did
Yeah, so a very different place. I strongly recommend traveling lots. And of course, you guys are all international, so you know all that. But go ahead, Alexander.
No.
You are going to give a talk on WhatsApp on the 30th, Stephen. Isn't it on the 30th? Well, you
For Skywatcher USA.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm planning on doing more showing than talking.
Right.
It'll be a live broadcast of the sun, hopefully, through Kevin Lagore's YouTube channel, Skywatcher USA, and they're one of our current sponsors. The nonprofit is currently sponsored in equipment only by Skywatcher USA, Meade Instruments Coronado, Celestron for mounts, and Rainbow Symphony for the glasses. We used to have financial sponsorships from 3 of those 4 companies, a monthly financial dividend or stipend, but I canceled all of that when the virus came around, because I didn't feel right taking the money, because we weren't doing outreach in it. So that's the financial status of the program. But not everything's
this channel is really interesting. I think that Kevin is promoting all the other vendors, and this is really nice.
Yeah, it is. It is very good.
It's unusual.
Kevin is a good friend, and it's funny because every solar episode so far, he's called me the day or 2 before, and we've went over all the things he's going to talk about, because he wants to make sure he's right. And in fact, he used Alexander's paper that she wrote with my introduction a few years ago as one of his bases for one of his shows. And I'm hoping that we have clear skies, because I do not have 2 hours worth of stuff to talk about. But I'll as you can see now, I have no problem filling in the space with talking. So we'll see what happens.
I was just going to say, Rainer, that was a much nicer view than we had just a little bit ago.
Which one?
Rainer. Oh,
this one?
Rainer. Yeah, that's a good view.
Yeah.
Yes. It's only
You
5.
sat in your observatory.
It's 5 Takahashi.
Brilliant.
Wow.
This is all what I have, and 2 collecting dust.
You can only afford 5 of them.
I had 6. I had 6, 3 on each, but the mounts are not working well, and that's why I took away some. And now it's only solar, a Mulon 250, FSQ 85, FS 78, TOA 130, and FSQ 106. This is all what I have. Not as much as Pedro has in Portugal.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's good. Is it sunny there? It's sunny there or no? You are in Mexico, right?
Yes, today is sunny, but I have palm trees the same way as Jack has palm trees.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I do not have a beach.
My peach tree blocks the evening sun, the sunset sun.
Yeah, mine's oak trees.
Oh, lovely. Where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you, James?
I'm in Edneyville in Western North Carolina, near Asheville.
All right. Right up the street, man.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
I was up at Brasstown Bald yesterday taking pictures of birds and leaves changing colors. And we got a good friend that lives in Franklin, North Carolina. But I've
Hi,
been to
guys.
Asheville a bunch of times. That's a big hippie
There you
hangout
can
downtown.
see my nightmare, the palm trees of my neighbor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow, man. that
And
is
at the
nice.
moment, it's nearly impossible to do some sun shooting. And
Yeah.
now with the change of winter time, I have to get up earlier so the palm trees are not in the way,
yeah.
or make some imaging in the afternoon to the west. This is my problem. Half of my side is gone.
So I've got a palm tree just like that, which blocks my noontime sun. And instead of having the palm fronds go out, I've chopped off all those. So it literally looks like a single palm frond sticking up. My wife hates it, poor thing, because I've kind of mutilated that particular tree just so I could extend by an hour.
I'm always chopping trees also.
Me too.
But they are mine. They are mine. So they're not from the neighbors. So.
But my trees are 30 feet tall.
Oh.
And so I'm a 6'4" person on a 20-foot ladder with a 30-foot pole trying to get some of these very tall ones, and I'm scared to death.
That's very dangerous. Yes.
Yeah. I'm getting too old for this.
So what time you guys can start imaging in the morning these days?
These days I can start at 8:02, but then probably about 3 o'clock I have to stop. In the summer, I can start at 7:30 and I can finish at 5:30.
Yeah, normally I start image around 9, and then I stop around 11 because it's getting too hot, even during winter. So, but I can image the sun all year round, so it's good for me.
How about you, Alexandra?
Yeah, with the clocks changing today, obviously it's sort of like about now that I can't image from the garden at all because the sun just doesn't get high enough to get above, like all the low trees and shrubs that I've got. It's sort of like now that I'll move up to the upstairs bedroom window. So I was thinking that today, probably about 10 in the morning and through to about 3 in the afternoon in the winter. But before I got this window last winter, I couldn't do any solar imaging at all from this time and through to about February, March. So I had no window of opportunity at all. So I'm glad that we invested in this upstairs bedroom window because it means that now I can at least, get to see the sun, which is great.
So you don't have to bring the equipment out, just inside?
Well, I'll have to shift all the equipment up the stairs, which is quite hard work.
Darren's floor, isn't it?
I love an observatory. Having an observatory has meant all the difference in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would love one, but it's just.
Me too.
Everybody's like one.
You need more than. I think you need more than one.
Yes, all around the garden.
Yes, exactly.
And upstairs.
Have one on rails that you can move.
John Lynn's joined us, and I saw. Oh, someone came on for a minute. Welcome, John. Oh, Bob Arnold.
Hey, John.
Hello. Thank you.
Hi, John.
Here's a recent post.
Oh,
that's where it's from.
On Solarchat by a gentleman named, I can't see it. Let's see. Jeremiah Farino.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
I don't know him, but
it's an Italian guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Good work.
Okay.
He's new on Solarchat. This guy is very good.
Is he? Okay. And I'm going through some of our more recent awesome photos while you guys are chatting it up. Anyway, this live broadcast is coming from all over the world, and we are Solarchat form solar imagers, astronomers, and outreach providers, and we are talking about the sun and getting to meet each other. And this is being broadcast on Facebook on the Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project page, and that's it. And also here amongst ourselves. So my next question is, where are the other women in solar astronomy? Why is this
I
all
agree.
the
Exactly.
same people?
Very few.
Yeah,
We
overall.
need more.
Yeah, and Pedro and I have traveled together for this a lot, and we see this everywhere outside of the U.S. and the UK. It's almost no old white guys like me. It's almost all young genders of every, both genders, any ethnicities, whatever. It's very unusual to see a group outside of the US and UK that's not all young people. And it's just a weird phenomenon, and I don't know what causes that. But Alexander, can you comment on any of that? Have you seen that the population of non-old white geezers increase in solar astronomy at all? Nothing personal to you other old white geezers. It's okay.
I think that it depends on where you look. I'm a member of like the British Astronomical Association, and there seems to be a lot of women in the solar section of that. The actual solar section leader is a lady, and there's quite a few other ladies, around, and there's Mary McIntyre as well. But I think that if you look in the actual, like in the universities, like the professors and the PhD students and everything like that, who actually go into astronomy as a career, there are a lot of women in that. There doesn't seem to be a lot of women who are into like the amateur astronomy, which is strange. And I don't know why that is, but they all seem to actually just go whole hog and go actually into the career of astronomy instead.
Yeah. Oh, always far too busy at home, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But as Stephen was saying, this is not the case in Tunisia. In Tunisia, you have lots of women in this science city, and they were all participating a lot. So in our association in Portugal, we have only one or two. So it's a mystery to me also. I don't know why.
I thought in the U.S. it might be because of money. Older people tend to have more money.
I was just about to say that, and I think you're correct, James, and that it costs quite a bit. That scope behind you is several $1,000s, and then that's not even half the stuff you got to buy to use it. So that probably has a lot to do with it also. Not for the women thing, but more for the young people, because there's not a lot of college students out there that can run out and.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have the money to buy a lot of what I had until I got older. I mean,
yeah, me too. And that's one of the reasons why we try to give away so much equipment around the world, so that people can get the high-end stuff at a younger age. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead, Robert.
And time as well. When you get older, you get more time to choose what you can do with it.
That could be. I feel like I have less time.
I'm still waiting to choose what I can do.
Yeah.
If you live on an island with no shops and no town and no nothing, there's plenty of time.
I feel like I have very little time left, and I feel like I need to compress it all as soon as I can do it. Yeah, that's a good point, though, James. I think that's got a lot to do with it, also.
And there's still a lot of stuff I want that I've got. I have plans, observatory, getting into imaging. Heavier equatorial mount for the Coronados, all kinds of stuff I could spend.
Hey, James, do you own any cameras at all?
I don't have any of the webcam type. No, I've got DSLRs. And of course I've used the iPhone, played with it a bit, but I have no. I start from scratch.
But so do you have a solar? You have a solar scope. You have a beautiful one in back of you, right?
Yeah, I've got two Coronados, and I've got a solar wedge for the white light. For my two white light scopes.
But no imaging camera, huh?
No, I have no imaging cameras.
Well, you do now.
I've done all vision.
Just give me your address, and you'll have a camera. It's not the best, but it'll get you started.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's just PM me your address, and you got a camera. It'll get you started.
You'll need a laptop,
Very
though,
cool.
probably, right?
Yeah, I've got a laptop actually.
Okay.
It's
And
an
I just
old
like-
That's
one.
fantastic.
I'd like to bust in and say how great it is to have someone on the broadcast that actually speaks the same accent and language as me.
Yeah.
And I can finally understand James. This is called the Southern U.S. accent.
I don't know.
Appalachian English.
I'm going to say James is the equivalent to your accent as the Scottish road is to the rest of England. So I'm going to say James is on the deeper end of that.
Well, I have to struggle with some of our other friends, and I'm sure they have to struggle with me, but James is like music to my ears. It's like I'm walking around the
It's familiar.
It is indeed.
Do you need my address?
Yeah, y'all work that out. You can do it on the chat feature here. You can press the chat and it'll come up and you can send a private message to him or whatever way you want to do it, man.
Or you can do it. I can do it on Solarchat too. So
you can do that as well. And I also have, cameras and things. I didn't realize you needed anything. You didn't ask for anything, which is also another common Southern trait. We never ask for anything. And I'm happy to help you out with whatever you need also, my friend.
You have a few SolarQuest mounts that
I gave them away. We
all of them.
We distributed 37 SolarQuest mounts and white light scopes to 5 countries.
Right.
And we had 24 recipients. All of them were either teachers or outreach providers. So we're very, very happy with that.
Most of the stuff I use is altazimuth still. I've got a couple. I've got an old CG5 and I've got an old CG4, which are equatorials, but they're not in the best of shape. But most of the, I've got a Losmandy altazimuth mount and a Coronado, but most of the stuff you see me do visually, I'm on altazimuth.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's good for visual. But I started off with an alt-az mount, and for solar, it doesn't matter because you're imaging such a short time that you don't ever have that problem of rotation. The only time that you would get a problem with rotation is if you decided to do an animation. And I used to do lots of animations with the PST, and sort of like it just gradually goes round and then it comes back, when you have it on a repeat. And as you gradually watch it more and more and more, you go, oh, I'm starting to feel a bit sick. That's the only problem that you can get.
It can be difficult doing mosaics as well, because that's the problem I was having right at the start until I got the right mount, and then it just clicked together and worked out. But do you remember early on, I said, I just cannot do mosaics. I felt I was doing everything right, building up the frames and processing everything and using Microsoft IC to stitch everything together. But just that slight rotation just screwed everything up and it just wouldn't work. So,
but if you're taking one shots, it's okay.
Oh yeah, single shots, yeah. So as you say,
okay.
10-second bursts or whatever. Yeah.
How are you guys doing the animations? I mean, I have the ability. I could take one every X amount of frames, or I can just take the entire video for 20-30 minutes and then compress it high speed. I don't get a squat. I'm like,
for animation, it's very important to have everything centered. And for that, EMPPG or IMPPG, it's great. It's amazing. It does a fantastic job. So you don't need anything else.
What is it?
So Jack.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, Stu.
Pedro, go ahead. Well, all right. I'll jump in. So I did a little critique on how to do animation. Just the basics of how to take sequences, the timing of sequences, and then how to process and stitch everything together into an animation. So I think it's in the library section. Should be.
Okay, I'll take a look. Thank you, Stu.
Yeah, no problems.
So it's a bit like doing, stop motion animation.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you take like a single frame, like you would normally do. You'd take, say, 1,000 images or 500 images, and then you would run it through auto stacker, you'd get your best and then you'd stack it and then you get your single frame. What you do is you do that like 60 times. So you would do it like every 30 seconds, you'd take a 500 frame short video and then you'd make a single frame from each of those. And so over, like, you'd have it, like, say if you did 60 and you did one of those frames per minute, you've got 60 minutes, and then you put them together and just run them fast. So it's a bit like a Flickr book. So you're just looking through all of the single frames and, you know, the eye sees it as moving.
Right. Okay.
But the most important problem is to align these frames. And this is very difficult. You can do it by hand in Photoshop, or you can use IMPPG. That's what I do, and it does an amazing job. It's perfect.
Great. Back to Philip, and a thank you to Philip.
Great. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Thanks, Philip. Yeah.
Actually, it's doable by hand, and that's what I had been doing before. As I wrote somewhere, I got down to maybe 5 seconds per frame in GIMP with transparent layers. So it's not that slow, but if you have a 200 frame time lapse, it gets longer.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Man,
so I've got a quick question about IMPPG. Maybe a suggestion. Is it possible to write a little routine that flips the image? Because when you take images using, for example, a Lunt 60 or anything with a 45 mirror, you've got to flip the image in order to get it in the right orientation. It'd be really helpful to be able to do that in IMPPG. Just saves loading it into another program and flipping it.
You know what I do too? I normally always image in fire capture with the right orientation. I always use also a prism or whatever, or diagonal. But I always image with north up, so that's the way to do it. So.
Right. So I use Jenica Astra. I don't know if that allows me to do that. Maybe it does. I haven't seen.
I don't know. Fire capture allows you to do that.
Yeah.
It's easy enough.
Okay.
It's definitely doable. On the other hand, what I do, if I have to do this, I just open the files as layers in GIMP, and then it's just one click in the menu to flip them.
If you have a single image with 200 stacks in it, 200 layers?
Yes, yeah. If you use file open as layers, it will be opened as just a bunch of layers, and then you can just flip them all with one menu click.
Oh, flip them, but you don't animate with that process.
Yes.
No, you do that too. So for animation, you use the filters, animation, playback, and you can just do it.
Ooh la la!
Yeah, and then just file, export as animated GIF, and that's it.
Huh.
Yeah, IMPPG has that also. Normally I use another program, but IMPPG also do animation, and it's very good.
All right,
that's the reason I was saying that you only need that. You don't need anything else for the animations.
And I'll take a look at Stu's article as well. Great.
Right.
Sweet. Then my other question is, I'm trying to get back into white light. I don't have a wedge, but I have used solar film. I haven't used it for several years, brought it out last week, and it was too washed out. And then I think I saw a post where I should put a neutral density filter on it as well. That might reduce some of the contrast. Have you heard such a thing? Should I add a neutral density filter to my battery white light?
Are you using the Baader Astro Solar, or it's the filter you are using? It's what, Baader?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's imaging or visual. I thought it was imaging, because I have taken about 5 years ago a shot with granulation on it.
If it's imaging, it's the neutral density, it's about 3.5. So you need a filter for that. It will be too bright. But if you're using the normal stuff, like the normal Bader Astro Solar, you don't need the, you will be okay. But you have one for visual and another one for imaging.
And I don't remember.
Oh.
Yeah.
Try also using a UV infrared cut filter as well if you're using the Bader Astro film.
Exactly. You always need that.
Because
I do have that.
you can get a lot of out of focus infrared and UV light that's coming through, and so it can tend to look very washed out.
Yeah.
Whereas that cuts that off and you get all of the, you know, just sort of like the visual that you want focus at the same time.
For my white light imaging, the high resolution stuff, I always use a battery of filters. So I use 3 filters together: the continuum, the UV-IR, and also a neutral density. So you need that.
Oh, I never use a neutral density.
But normally I use one, not the neutral density 3, but I use a 1.2 or something.
Oh, I just go for the fastest exposure time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna figure out. I didn't bring a pencil with me. I'll take my notes real quick. Yep, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Has anybody else got any questions? Anybody else?
Some of Pedro's latest work from the forum while we're talking.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a big
He
problem.
always does
big
great.
problem. I'm always showing off all my telescopes.
Which is great. Which is really it's really cool. You do that.
Yeah, but I enjoy doing it, and some videos also. So it's
Pedro also does something that's very beneficial to the nonprofit, and that he shares the video. I'll let you listen to this for a minute.
The videos are nice because it's like something for me to remember what I was doing also. And this is the new observatory there, the one in the middle.
Yeah, because not only do you have lots of telescopes, you actually use them.
I try to use not all of them because I have a few that are very old. I try to collect them, but I try to use most of them. Yes. And I also have a Tech 140, and this is a fantastic telescope. I'm going to use it in the new observatory, like Alexandra has one also.
It is lovely.
Pedro shares, he was going to say he shares all of his posts from Solarchat onto the Facebook group, which really brings a professional level onto the Facebook group, which is mostly beginners with very little experience.
Normally, I try to put some live video images, and this is nice because you can, if you look this video is in high resolution, you can see what I'm seeing, and also the images that come out of it. So it's interesting.
No, and I love your videos, especially since what I do is I compare. Okay, this is what the professional did. Now, how close did I come to that with my humble equipment?
Now this seeing in calcium K, it's really amazing. It's very difficult to have seeing like this. I'm using a +2 Barlow, I think, with this one, but it's really amazing. It's unusual to have this very good seeing. And now during winter, the sun is low. There's not much heat, so it's really. Normally, I have the best images during winter, at this time of the year. There's not much to see on the sun now, but anyway.
Interesting.
Always like to see your observatories, Pedro. You're building a third one, and I'm trying to get rid of the third one and cut it down to 2.
Yeah, you have 2. Yeah, you have 3.
I've got 3, but one's dilapidated. I'm trying to replace it with something I can make work.
But you have a problem in your site. You have lots of snow. I never have snow here, and snow can be a problem.
Well, that's the other thing with the flat roofed observatory. I'm thinking not much snow load tolerance.
Exactly. This new one, it's really easy to move the roof because the first roll-off I built was in '78, a long time ago, and this one is really easy. I can move the roof with 1 finger only, and this is it was very cheap. It was a local guy that built and it cost more or less $1,000 everything. Yep. And it's not too much. So
wow, that's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah, exactly. With all the material, the labor, and everything, so it's nothing.
My twin brother and I put one together for about $1,200–1,300, 8 foot by 8 foot roll
Right,
off.
exactly. But the best way is to use, this is all metal, and you have lots of condensation inside, and this is bad. Because all my other observatories I have a dome, and the dome is also metal. If you have a fiberglass dome, it will be different. But it's lots of condensation. That's bad. If you have a humid climate, it's not that good. So.
Yep.
But for solar, using the dome, I think it's great because you are in. You have to image early in the morning because when it gets hot, you have lots of problems. For solar roll off, it's good. And if you have a warm room or somewhere to observe nearby, it's great. But normally with my roll offs, I do other imaging like the deep sky, and I always control remotely from my house, so I don't have to be there. But for solar, I always have to be there because it's changing telescopes all the time, so you can see that on the videos.
Right.
I have to say that, solar imaging during the pandemic kept us, sane.
Exactly. I agree totally.
You can do it from your front yard, and it's a wonderful experience, and keeps you.
I agree totally. Yes.
What I will do, I work all day long, but I work from my observatory as my home office, and I will sometimes, if the meeting is so boring and I'm so desperate, I turn my mic off, I turn my camera off, I roll back to the observatory. They're having their meeting, and I'm observing the sun. One time, I even took my vendor and said, hey, go get your kids. What kind? So my vendor was bringing their kids in my own personal version during the workday. It was illicit, but fun.
What do you do for work?
I am an IT program manager, so I manage multiple IT projects.
Can I tell you a nice story? There is a video for the Zoom meetings. There is a video. You can record the video of you nodding like this. And then you go,
That's good. Just play it,
yeah. Which is fine if it's appropriate.
Yeah. What you didn't know is this is not real. I'm a pre-recorded message. At the sound of the message, please leave your voice, okay? Beep.
Yeah. Here's some other images that I thought you might like to see. This is, let's see. This is at the Herstmansow Observatory. Did I say that right?
Right.
Pete Lawrence in the middle.
Yeah.
I was there also. Yeah.
Steve Collingwood, I believe his name on the left. Gary Palmer.
Rupert, also from Astrograph.
Rupert Smith, Pete Lawrence, and Mark Townley on the right. That's Mark.
Yep.
And we were enjoying ourselves there. And I think a lot of you have been around long enough to know who this person is. This is
all
Walter
miss him.
Koch, who passed away a few years ago. He was quite a character. Jack, I believe he would have given you a run for your money. And when I got to England that time with Pedro and met with Mark and Alexander and all, they surprised me and had Walter popped out of the forest and just jumped in front of me. And I was so shocked. I had no idea who it was. And then immediately I realized it was Walter. So that was a very good time.
Fun.
It was.
Ooh. So there are chat messages. Where are there chat messages?
Yeah, and if you guys don't mind, I'll share
There
photos
is. I haven't seen those.
now and then.
So the name of the software. Where's the name of the software?
MPPG. Yeah.
Oh, good. I see you saying. Okay, very good.
When I do get a camera, I'll be really hitting you guys up.
Okay, but that's what the Solarchat forum is for, my friend.
Exactly.
So James, PM me in Solarchat forum.
Okay.
And this is Gary Palmer on the left and Pedro and I in another size comparison. I thought you were a lot taller than that. You seem like a mountain to me, Pedro. I always see you as such a larger than life guy. And I always thought that Pedro would look fantastic in an old 14th century conquistador suit of armor. Because if he's not a conquistador looking guy, I don't know what is.
I think it's great because Pedro, I think, is about the same size as me.
Yeah,
exactly.
Together, I don't look short. I just look the same size as Pedro.
Let's get some. Let's get
Come
some.
on, we are the right size. We are 1.6. So
well, you can judge for yourself in this photo because here's Alexandra.
Yeah, see, there you go. Actually, it looks like
nice.
Pedro's taller than me.
Next to Pedro, and that's Walter and me and Mark Townley and Gary Palmer on the left. Yeah.
We all miss
Mark.
military.
Is Mark the one with the ponytail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's gotten a little thinner since then. Also, we were all fat and happy in those days, except Alexandra and Pedro, of course. They're in perfect shape. Gary Palmer drove me around London when we were there, and I did not think I was going to survive that.
Yeah, we had a great time.
In
a big van.
You can see all the smiles.
I was bummed out. I was supposed to come to the UK this summer, and then we had to cancel.
This is a funny one here.
Sorry, Franco, where are you again? I'm sorry.
I'm in Westport, Connecticut.
Okay. That southern accent gave it away.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And this is Pedro.
This is nice.
With Alan Trano. Some of you might remember Alan. He was co-owner of Lunt Solar Systems, and
he left Lunt also. He left now.
Well, he's dead. He died about.
I died.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't know that. Yeah, he is deceased. So he died about a year after the eclipse. So about a year and a half ago, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Pedro. I thought you.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, we were friends.
He was friends with everybody. I mean, he was an adventurous person, let's just say. But that's Alan Trano and Pedro at the Astrophotographer of the Year Awards. And
where Alexander received an award.
Yeah, that's a sensitive subject for me, Pedro. I don't know if I want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I love it, but I'm gonna go get my daughters. One's at college. I'm gonna go pick her up, and the other one's spending the night with my daughter. So I'm gonna go head up to Los Angeles and go get them.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Jack.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care, Jack.
Seeing you.
Bye, Jack.
Oh, nice.
This is Pedro and Alexandra at the Astrophotographer of the Year Award.
Yeah, Greenwich.
See, Pedro is slightly taller than me.
Exactly.
You were leaning over. That's what women always do in their photographs. You were leaning in. They call it the sorority kneel down in the States. My wife does that too because she thinks she's too tall, so she's always leaning in.
Right.
So let's see. Yeah, this is one, and I won't take up the whole time, but I figured you guys want to see cool stuff. And from left to right, this is Pedro, Mark Townley, Alexandra, Gary Palmer, and me. And then to the right is that's the Astro Radio guy, right?
Pete.
Yes.
Yeah, Pete Williamson. And I don't know who the guy next to him is. And then there's Alan Trano at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. So when I got in the invite to go there, of course I knew I'd won, because how could anyone have a photo, as good as mine? And my photograph of the largest prominence ever imaged from the Earth, taken by a 12-year-old girl using my equipment at the Dragon Con Science Fiction Fest. So of course I knew I won. You know me. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get my trophy. I'm telling people beforehand. I'm going to thank all the little people when I get up here and get my trophy, and I won't leave you out, Alexandra. Don't worry. Things like that. And then we get up there and she kicks the shit out of me. She wins. she beat me like a bad habit. It was terrible. So I was quite humbled during that show. But the better photo won, as we say.
Oh, I don't know. I think yours were pretty good.
I flew back to
I don't know why mine won.
with my tail tucked between my legs, and I flew on back
You were supposed to give a speech. You didn't give a speech.
Yeah, I had a 30-minute speech prepared.
No way.
I'm kidding. We like to have fun with this story because, and she should have won. But that was great fun at the Astrophotographer of the Year Awards, and that was in 2014. They even made a video of Alexandra and played it on the internet, and they came to her house and made a wonderful video of her. So that's the kind of things we've done with friends from Solarchat, and we would never have known each other had it not been for social media. So there are some pluses to social media. Although we don't really see a lot of them.
Yeah, because I would never have met all of you guys if it wasn't for like Solarchat and things like that. And I think it's great.
Absolutely.
I think they're incredibly lovely people. And Stuart, you're the best. You are so helpful and so kind. You're amazing. And it's great because you're only like 1 hour up the motorway, and I can visit and give you all of my problems, and you sit there and you work them all out.
Well, I'm interested in this recent problem with the USB 3 on your Dell laptop. So
I know, our useless laptop. I bought, I bought this all singing, all dancing Dell laptop. It was like the best one, a Dell one that you could get, but I got it cheap because it was like a year old and it had been lost in packing somewhere, I think. But we've only realized this weekend that none of the USB ports, are powered. And I've been plugging in my cameras all summer thinking, God, this computer's rubbish, because on the screen it's really noisy and slow, and I could just get better results out of my 8-year-old laptop. And then just this weekend we found out that actually there's no power to it. So
what's the solution? You need a powered USB, like an extension or something?
Well, we've actually found that the only powered port on it is the USB-C port. It's the only lightning bolt on it. And when I plugged in my the DMK camera into that, suddenly it all worked. And it's like, oh God, it's taken us 6 months to work that out.
Last photo.
Nice.
That's nice, and we need an authorization to put this online. You remember that, Stephen?
Yeah, whatever.
Because of the small kids.
That was at the Hurston Observatory, and they had a bunch of little kids come up, and we donated a Coronado 90mm double stack to the observatory, and they put it to use that day, and we did an outreach event that day.
I think I was the one taking the photo, I think.
Yeah, so we'll be arrested as soon as we
exactly for child molesting.
Yeah. There they are. And notice the energy rejection filter up here. This is one of the original Isle of Man Coronado double stack 90s. And
they were great to kids.
Yeah. So we gave it to the observatory, and Steve Collingwood still runs this and takes care of it.
Right.
So yeah. Cool. I'm all Mac, Alexander, so I have no idea what you're talking about on your PC laptops.
I was going to say
that was one thing that I was going to do when I, met you in the spring. Is I was going to bring a USB pen and ask you for that program that you've got for your Mac.
Happy to give it to you.
Because my husband's got a Mac, and we find that we can't. The only camera I can run on it is the DMK41 with this strange program that's a bit weird. But I was thinking, when I met you, it was like, I'll take a USB and see if I can get him to give it to me.
Well, so it's an outdated program now, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows already. But I run Mac only, and I use Astro IIDC, which is a program written by a fellow named Milton Apparel about 15 years ago. And Milton did not sell enough to justify continuing the program, but it's I love it, and I use it still. That's the only thing I use on Macs, and it runs FireWire cameras. And so it'll run some USBs, but it's Astro IIDC is a format of camera language, IIDC. So it runs FireWire camera. But we've given away through a partnership with Emory University here in Atlanta, where I get their old laptops, I refurbish them, pair them with the camera, put that software on it. I bought the rights to the software forever. So I can install it on any Mac. Anybody that has a Mac, I'm happy to give it to you. But we've given
what
away
happens if you don't have a FireWire camera?
That's the thing. So you have to have a FireWire camera and a Mac with a FireWire port, which they no longer make. So it has to be 2009 to 2017 Macs. And Emory University gives these away by the dozens every year. So it's been a great setup because Point Grey sponsors the program with their old cameras. I get the old Macs from Emory. I buy the cables, put the software on it, and we've sent out over 300 of these computer systems all around the world. And some of the people using them are producing just unbelievable results with this old beat up junk, you know. But that's the only camera I use is a Point Grey Grasshopper on a 2011 iMac. And of course, I'm not, you know, at the caliber of most of the imagers on here, but my images are good enough.
Oh, I think they're lovely.
Yeah, they're okay. You know, my full disc images are really good in calcium K, but these cameras aren't capable of close-up stuff. Their frame rates are too slow. But that's what I use. So if anybody has a Mac and they want Astro IIDC, unfortunately, you have to send the Mac to me because that thumb drive is not getting out of my possession, man. It's the only one left. It's in this bag and it will never leave my hands. You have to kill me to get it.
I have one thing to add, Stephen. So I suspect that this program would also work with newer Point Grey cameras that use USB 2 and USB 3, because IIDC, the protocol can be also transported via USB, and I know that Point Grey cameras support it.
Yes, and that is what Milton on his last update said, that he doesn't know which cameras do and don't use that framework, the IIDC framework. So it does run several types of USB cameras, but there's no way I can tell you whether your camera's going to work on it or not. You have to plug it in and hope for the best. And I do run my DMK cameras on it, which are USB cameras. But that's just my quirky little thing, you know. And people are always asking me, you know, what kind of camera I go, I don't know, man. I mean, I could tell you what kind of camera you should have had in 2012, but I don't know about now. And you know,
let me just ask you a question. You all are moving to CMOS cameras, I think, because their CCD cameras are going to be dead in a while. And
yes.
I'm always having problems with these CMOS cameras. Lots of Newton rings, lots of interferences. It's not the same.
No.
And also, it's CCDs are much better. We all know that. But they are going to, in a few years, we are not going to have any CCDs. So.
Really? Yeah, all of the DSLRs have already moved to that. You know, all my Canon DSLRs I use for wildlife are all CMOS cameras and have been for years.
There is in the WhatsApp video YouTube channel, there is a fantastic presentation by Richard something, the guy that works for Software Bisque.
Richard Wright.
Right, exactly. Watch that. You be sure to see that. It's really interesting. He tells all the story of the CMOS versus CCD.
I have a question. A lot of us use the DW 174 camera, which is, I think, what, 2.3 megapixels. What's the next camera up that has large pixels, like 5 to 6 pixels, but higher resolution? Is there one or no?
CWOs, they're all CMOS, so.
Right, but is there like something with higher resolution than 2.3 megapixels with big pixels?
No, I'm not sure, but they have lots of cameras. You can go into the website and see that. There's
very few that have pixels larger than what's in the 174.
Right.
Exactly.
Just about all the cameras coming to market now have, you know, down to like less than 2. Some of them are under 2 micron pixels because they're trying to make it work for the short focus refractor and not be grossly oversampling. But you go back into the CCD days, you had 9 micron pixels, 12 micron pixels in the deep sky cameras, and the whole, the astronomy portion of this is the second thoughts of all the chip providers. And so everybody's moving to this small pixels. One surprising thing is the new ZWO 462 camera, I believe it's a one-shot color. It has the same chip and array as the 290, so it's got small pixels, but it has very good infrared sensitivity, and you can basically use it as a monochrome camera. I've been using it for planetary work, and it passes infrared, so doing methane band images and infrared. With that camera, the exposures are half of what they are with the monochrome 290. So there's some other interesting things you can do. You can bin the pixels and make, instead of 2.9, you can make them, 5 micron or 6 micron if you want to bin them. But it's still a very small sensor. So it's great for planets.
Isn't it that when you bin them, it's not exactly the same as having the large pixels?
Not exactly, but it works.
But you can do it.
The color doesn't work bin, but the monochrome 290, if you wanted bigger pixels, you can get away with it.
Yeah,
but you still have a small chip. Because
of the Bayer thing, you cannot bin it. And do you use cooled cameras or not?
None of
for the sun.
Yeah, nothing cooled for solar. Solar planetary is all air cooled, just the basic camera.
You don't need it. Yeah, right. And they are much more expensive, these cooled cameras.
He lives in Canada.
I pay 40 cents on the dollar.
I know. Yes, you are. It's freezing outside. But anyway.
No, actually, it's a little above zero today. It was 22 Celsius on Friday, with about the humidity made it feel just below 30. And then a cold front came through and it was snowing Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think you
Oh, sorry.
You all agree with me that CMOS cameras are much worse. And if you used CCDs before and now change to CMOS, it's a mess. You don't have when you are processing, you don't have that. It's very difficult to process images the right way with the CMOS camera. That's my feeling.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, they are.
It's different.
I find that they're noisy as well.
Exactly.
Whereas
and the dynamic range
is
is very bad. It's really awful.
Do you think they'll ever fix the issue?
Yes. See the Richard Wright talk. They are catching up, but we still have to wait. And they are much cheaper to produce, the CMOS cameras. So it's really, there's no turning back. So
Richard Wright is a programmer that writes software. He wrote the software, the Sky X.
Exactly.
That's used by a lot of people, and he works with our nonprofit also. He's done coding for us before. In fact, we're working on a fantastic iPhone app, smartphone app.
Oh,
I can't tell you much more than that, but it's going to be fantastic. And
Richard, I use Sky X all the time for
me too.
The Paramount. So
it's a great program. And he lives in Orlando, Florida, James, and he sounds like us. And he's a real good guy. So we go birding together all the time because my other hobby is nature photography. So I'm going to pull up some things from the Charlie Bates Solarchat forum while you guys are chatting, and show a few pictures of some of the behind the scene antics that go on the Solarchat forum. And you'll know what I'm talking about in a moment. You wouldn't believe some of it.
Sounds interesting.
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is a family broadcast, so I'll have to use some kinder language. Let's see here.
I find it interesting, Pedro, that you get the best images during the winter.
Yes, because it's cooler here. We are almost in November, and we have still 25 degrees outside. So it's cooler. It's cooler during the winter, but the sun is lower also.
So
normally
it's cool here in January too.
Sorry?
I don't see anybody else at minus 26 doing solar imaging.
During summer, I have 40 something here, 40.
Oh my God.
degrees centigrade.
Celsius, folks. That's
Celsius, Celsius, right? No, but anyway, during I get my best seeing, maybe not the best images, but my best seeing is October, November.
Here where I am, it's actually the contrary. I find it the best seeing around May, June, and July.
Me
June,
too.
July.
Me too. We have too much jet stream activity in the winter, I believe.
Yeah, the jet stream is a killer here in Connecticut, especially now.
But if you are close to the sea, it would be worse. I'm at the interior right now, so close to the sea, jet stream is also a problem. But I don't have it here. Normally, the seeing here is good. During the night, it's excellent. I know you know that we have lots of clear skies here. I have something like 250 days to observe, either during the day or night.
Right.
Now it's. I'm looking at my old sky camera here. It's raining, but that's very unusual.
This is 1 day's worth of fraudulent sign-up attempts, and these are users.
Hey, Steven, how many members there are on Solarchat now?
Okay, I'll get just 1 second. But these are the fraudulent attempts to sign up just today. They're almost all from the Russian Federation. Almost all of them are emails that trace back to Russia because we can trace the IP addresses. Currently, let's see, we have 260,000 posts.
That's a lot. Yeah.
3,187 members. Our newest member, Mandy, I'm guessing is another fake one. Total topics, 28,000. So, and there's most of these conferences, there's probably twice as many of these conferences that have been hidden because they've kind of dated away. They're kind of outdated, you know, like eclipses or Venus transits, stuff like that, you know, that are hidden now. And
I remember like 2-3 years ago, it was like 2,200 or so, 2,300, and now it's over 3,000.
Yeah, and you know the goal here has never been to have a lot of members. The goal has been to have quality members that want to share what they do with each other, and that's why we don't do any advertising of any kind. It's only word of mouth has been why our forum has spread. And the same thing on our Facebook group. You know, the Facebook group is actually secret. And we don't want to get, you know, 50,000 members from Nigeria and Pakistan, you know, whatever, that are just there to cause malice. So that's, I've been real proud of the forum, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. And all the comments I get from people all the time. And, you know, Mark and Alexander really run the forum now. I only come in when somebody needs to get beat up, or when, you know, when I have to be the bad guy. But I read it every day, and I love what's on it. I especially love posts from some of the people in here, Pedro and Alexander. But you know, it's been a good thing, and it's all been secret. So we haven't shared it in order to get more members. So we don't want 500,000 members. We want, you know, this many members that are going to post quality things. So I'm going to go tell you the other thing. I pay for several add-ons to keep our forum clean. Let me share the screen. You're not seeing anything. And if you're bored by this, then I'll just quit. But so one of the add-ons is called spam protection, and one of them is called cleanup. And I wanted to tell you that we get over 100,000 hits a day from spam bots, and they get on there, and you'll see on the main forum when you sign in, if you look at the bottom, it'll tell you how many spam bots are scouring the forum at any given time. And some of these are legitimate. Google uses a spam bot for the search engine. It's just a bot, and all your search engines use bots that scour the internet and look for terms to add to their search engine. But the vast majority of them are attempting to use our PHP forum to disseminate information from our email server. Because apparently it's real popular for people that are disseminating, you know, penis pump ads or sunglass ads or whatever garbage they want to put on the internet, propaganda, political discourse, whatever. they want to find some other email server to use to disseminate this information. And our email server has been hacked more than Microsoft Office, let me tell you. So we have very limited email. And I know I've gotten messages from members before saying, you know, I'm not getting any emails or whatever. That's because our email server is just constantly inundated with millions of phished email scams. None of this gets to you because of the additions that we put in the background of Solarchat. But I'd say at least 100, 150,000 a day. I get administrative messages from the email server. At least every 10 minutes, I'll get a new message. And some of the topics are quite hilarious. Like the one I just got. This financial robot need cash? Launch this robot and see what's up. And the she-male porn ads I get every day for, you know, whatever she-male porn is, I get those constantly.
What? So those would have been emailed out to everybody's email address, and so the chat you hadn't caught them.
Yes, that's right. And here's the screen of those. And that's why our email is so slow and doesn't even work sometimes, because it never gets to a lot of the legitimate emails because there's so much hacked email going on.
Oh, I see.
Here's online marketing from Rudy. There's just thousands and thousands of them every day.
But Stephen, not long ago, Solarchat was hacked several times and it stopped.
Yes.
Not anymore now. It's much
No,
better.
because we used an outside consultant. I mean, I'm pretty good at this stuff, but I wasn't good enough to combat what was going on for two reasons. One is because PHP BB is probably the most hacked forum software on earth because it's the most popular forum software. And when I was coding things, I just wasn't capable of preventing what was going on. We were getting overtaken every day by Russian Federation email addresses that were using our mail server to disseminate whatever garbage they wanted to disseminate. They were using our email addresses at solarchatforum.com because I have unlimited email addresses. If anybody wants an email address at solarchatforum.com, you can have a free one, or solarastronomy.org. But they were phishing and creating hundreds of fake email addresses from our Solarchat forum and then disseminating all this propaganda. So I purchased 3 programs that add on to PHP, and we hired a professional consultant on a retainer. So that's where some of the expense for the forum goes. And his name is Mark Hamill. Does anyone know? Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. That's the guy's actual name. But he's pretty funny. He's retired CIA, so he's got a lot of experience, but he's not cheap. So whenever something bad happens, when they take over the whole forum, which they've done half a dozen times, I'll if I can't fix it, I'll call him in.
But that's not happening anymore. So it's
not since we hired this guy, and not since we put in 3 extensions that he recommended. But I still get all the attempted emails from the cleanup program that I installed. It tells me what's going on, how many emails were blocked, how many bot attempted usernames were blocked. I get one of those every week, and it's in the millions by now. It's usually 100,000 or so.
It's a mess.
So yeah, there's a lot to running it that you don't get to hear about, but Mark and Alexander do the daily moderations, and you guys really provide the content. That's the most sought after thing on the internet, is legitimate, viable content that is of value to the users. That's the hardest thing to come by. And that's why I don't want, 200,000 members posting stuff that's of no value or scams or whatever else. I want, I'll take 10 members that post like you guys here post, and that's plenty. And you see, I do talk a lot. So here I go. I'm going to stop talking now.
I'm surprised actually you've not talked about Star Trek yet.
Well, we'll get to that. I am wearing my Star Trek insignia, and I always have my Vulcan science officer head suit ready at a moment's notice. So live long and prosper, you Solarchat forum types. Remember, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. So yes, if you'd like to change the subject to the Federation, I'm all about that.
Well, that stopped the conversation, didn't it?
Everyone's a little bit shocked. So I'll be
So
right
how
back.
many other people actually watch Star Trek? Or is it just a big zero?
I do.
Oh yeah,
I watch it sometimes. Yes. It's a bit
Mainly
dated
the
now.
original series. Yeah.
I watch it sometimes. That's not good enough.
You have a bear face now.
Yes, I know. Hang on.
Well, guys, I think we should do it maybe every couple of months, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Why not?
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's been good tonight,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
this morning, or wherever.
Yeah, whatever.
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much better now, Stephen.
Yes, this is my
Like
other
this
hobby
stuff.
of bird watching that we will.
It gets hot inside.
You've got a solar suit as well, haven't you?
I got plenty of costumes. Don't worry. We're saving those for later broadcasts. Well, yeah. So let's see. We had how many participants? 22 was the high, and
I think it was 12. I think
12 now.
No,
And-
the highest number.
Okay, and we've had about 30 views on Facebook, but this will be recorded, and I will embed it in the Solarchat forum for those that missed it, and
Okay.
it's already on Facebook. So Alexandra, I wanted to say thanks for coming up with the idea. And did anyone else have anything they wanted to yell at me about? Any changes you want to put on the Solarchat forum or anything of that nature? I'm the man, and I'm here to help.
Okay.
It's all
Thank
good.
you.
All good, Stephen.
Yeah, very good.
No, really appreciate it, Stephen and Alexandra and Mark, of course, for all the great work that you do on sorting all this out for us in terms of Solarchat. That's
It's
brilliant.
fun, man.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
I think
Take care.
Everybody here's really helped me. I mean, learn it and go through it. And as I go into imaging, that'll be even more so. At least I had a base on visual because, planetary observing and deep sky I've done since the late 70s. But solar outside of white light, HA is totally new.
It is.
So,
I really enjoy your observations.
Yeah, very good.
I think you give the most detail and excellent, observations.
Right.
Exactly. We'll see you on the Solarchat forum then, everybody. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Guys,
Thank you
it'll be
all.
great to see everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Yes.